Hey everyone, and welcome back to Fluent English Journey. I'm Blake, and I'm really happy you're here with me today. In this lesson, we're going to talk about one of the most useful real-life topics you need when speaking English. Today's topic is restaurant conversations. Now, you might be thinking ordering food at a restaurant is easy. Why do I need a whole lesson about it? And yes, in a very basic way, it can be simple. You can point at the menu and say, "I want this." The waiter will probably understand you. But if you want to sound natural, confident, and more like a native English speaker, there is a lot more you need to know. In this episode, we're going to explore how real restaurant conversations work in English. This will help you feel comfortable and confident in any restaurant situation. It doesn't matter if you are traveling to another country, living in an English-speaking place, or going to a nice restaurant in your own city. These skills are useful everywhere. By the end of this lesson, you will learn the phrases, vocabulary, and conversation patterns that people actually use in restaurants. We will talk about everything from the moment you walk into the restaurant to the moment you pay the bill and leave. You will learn how to greet the staff, how to order food politely, how to ask questions about the menu, how to make special requests, how to solve problems if something is wrong with your food, and how to pay at the end. So get comfortable, maybe grab your headphones, and let's begin. Before we learn specific phrases, it's important to understand why restaurant conversations can be difficult, even for advanced English learners. In a restaurant, you are not just having one simple conversation. You are moving through different stages, and each stage has its own language and social rules. First, there is the greeting and seating stage. This is when you talk to the host or hostess at the door. Then comes the ordering stage, where you need to read the menu, ask questions, and explain what you want clearly. After that is the dining stage, when you may need to ask for extra items, request help, or say something if there is a problem. Finally, there is the payment stage, where you look at the bill, maybe split it with friends, and understand tipping. Each of these stages uses different words and expressions. On top of that, restaurants are often noisy. Waiters may speak fast, and sometimes you feel pressure to decide quickly because other customers are waiting. All of this can make restaurant English feel stressful. But here's the good news. Once you learn the common phrases and patterns that native speakers use, everything becomes much easier. That is exactly what we are going to do today. Let's start at the very beginning, arriving at the restaurant and getting seated. When you walk into a sit-down restaurant, someone will usually greet you at the entrance. This person is called the host or hostess. Their job is to welcome guests and manage the seating. They might say something like, "Hi, welcome to," and then say the name of the restaurant. Depending on the time of day, they may say, "Good afternoon," or "Good evening." After greeting you, they will usually ask, "How many are in your party?" or "Table for how many?" The word party does not mean a celebration. It simply means your group of people. If there are 3 people, you can say, "3, please," or "A table for 3. If you made a reservation, the host will ask, "Do you have a reservation?" You can answer by saying, "Yes, I have a reservation under," and then say your name. For example, "Yes, I have a reservation under Blake." The word under means the reservation is listed with that name. If you do not have a reservation, you can say, "No, we don't have a reservation," or "No, we're walk-ins." A walk-in is someone who comes without booking ahead. The host may then tell you how long the wait is. They might say, "It'll be about 20 minutes," or "We can seat you right away." If there is a wait, they may give you a small device or ask for your phone number so they can contact you when your table is ready. If they don't mention the wait time, you can politely ask, "How long is the wait?" Sometimes you may have seating preferences. Maybe you want to sit near a window or in a quieter area. You can say things like, "Could we have a table by the window?" or "Do you have any booths available?" A booth is a seating area with benches on both sides and a table in the middle. It's usually more private and comfortable. And just like that, your restaurant experience begins. Starting strong with polite, clear English helps set a positive tone for the whole meal. Some people like booths because they feel more private and more comfortable. If you have a preference, it is perfectly okay to ask. For example, you might say, "Could we sit outside?" if the restaurant has outdoor seating. Or you might say, "Could we have a quiet table?" especially if you plan to have an important or private conversation. The host or hostess will usually try their best to help you. However, it is important to remember that during busy times, like weekends or evenings, they may not be able to give you exactly what you want. If your preferred seating is not available, they might say something like, "I'm sorry, all our window tables are taken right now," or "We don't have any booths available at the moment." If this happens, you can decide what to do. You can choose to wait until the type of table you want becomes available, or you can accept the table they offer you. When your table is ready, the host will say something like, "Right this way," or "Follow me, please." Then they will walk with you to your table. When you arrive, they might say, "Your server will be right with you," or "Someone will be with you shortly." This means your waiter or waitress will come to your table very soon. Now you are seated, and this is where the real restaurant conversation begins. Your server is the person who takes your order, brings your food, and helps you during your meal. In American English, the word server is very common because it is gender neutral. You may also hear waiter for a man or waitress for a woman. When the server comes to your table for the first time, they usually introduce themselves. They might say, "Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'll be taking care of you today," or "Good evening, my name is Mike, and I'll be your server tonight." This is a friendly way to start the conversation and let you know who to ask if you need help. After introducing themselves, the server will usually ask about drinks. The most common questions are, "Can I start you off with something to drink?" or "What can I get you to drink?" This is your chance to order your beverages. If you want water, you can say, "Water, please," or "Could I have water?" In many American restaurants, water is free and often brought to the table automatically, but it is still polite to ask. If you want another drink, such as soda, juice, coffee, or tea, you can say, "I'll have a Coke, please," or "Could I get an orange juice?" If you are not sure what drinks are available, you can ask, "What kind of sodas do you have?" or "Do you have any fresh juices?" Here is an important cultural note about water in the United States. When you order water, the server may ask, "Still or sparkling?" Still water is regular water without bubbles. Sparkling water has bubbles and is carbonated. If they do not ask and you have a preference, you can say, "Still water, please," or "Sparkling water, please." In the US, tap water is free and safe to drink, so you do not need to order bottled water unless you want to. In other English-speaking countries, such as the UK or Australia, customs may be slightly different, but the language used is very similar. If you order alcohol, the server may ask to see your ID to confirm your age. They might say, "Can I see your ID?" You should be ready to show your passport or driver's license. The legal drinking age is different in each country, so it is important to know the rules where you are. After taking your drink order, the server will usually give you some time to look at the menu. They may say, "I'll give you a few minutes to look over the menu," or "Take your time, and I'll be back to take your order." This is when you carefully read the menu and decide what you want to eat. Now let's talk about restaurant menus, because this is where many English learners feel confused. Menus often include unfamiliar words, creative descriptions, and different sections that may not be clear at first. Most menus are divided into categories such as appetizers, entrees, sides, desserts, and beverages. Appetizers, also called starters, are small dishes you eat before the main meal. Common appetizers include soup, salad, chicken wings, mozzarella sticks, or calamari. Entrees, also called main courses or mains, are the main part of your meal. These dishes are usually larger and more filling. Common entrees include steak, chicken, fish, pasta, and burgers. Here is something that can be confusing. In American English, the word entree means the main dish. But in British English and some other varieties, entree can mean a small dish before the main course. In the UK or Australia, what Americans call an entree is often called a main instead. Sides or side dishes are smaller portions of food that go with your main dish. Common sides include French fries, rice, vegetables, mashed potatoes, or salad. Sometimes sides are included with the entree, and sometimes you need to order them separately. The menu usually explains this. Desserts are sweet foods you eat at the end of the meal, such as cake, ice cream, pie, or cheesecake. Beverages are drinks, which we already discussed. When you read menu descriptions, you will often see cooking words that describe how the food is prepared. For example, grilled means the food is cooked on a grill with direct heat, often leaving dark grill marks and giving the food a smoky flavor. Baked means the food is cooked in an oven. Fried means the food is cooked in hot oil, which makes it crispy and crunchy. Sautéed means the food is cooked quickly in a pan with a small amount of oil or butter. Roasted means the food is cooked in an oven at high heat, often used for vegetables or meat. Steamed means the food is cooked using steam. This is usually considered a healthier cooking method. Braised means the food is cooked slowly in liquid, often making meat very soft and flavorful. Poached means the food is gently cooked in hot water or another liquid, but not boiling. You will also see words that describe the flavor or texture of food. Spicy means the food has hot peppers or spices that can make your mouth feel hot or burn. Savory means the food has a rich, salty, or meaty flavor, not sweet. Tangy means the food has a sharp or slightly sour taste. Creamy means the food is smooth and rich, often made with cream. Crispy means the food is crunchy when you bite it. Tender means the meat is soft and easy to chew. Juicy means the food has a lot of moisture and strong flavor. Understanding these words helps you imagine what the food will taste and feel like. This makes it much easier to choose dishes that match your preferences. When your server comes back, they will usually ask something like, "Are you ready to order?" or "What can I get for you?" If you need more time, that is completely fine. You can say, "Could we have a few more minutes? We're not quite ready yet." Your server will leave and come back later. If you are ready, this is the moment to order your food. The most common way to order is by saying, "I'll have," followed by the name of the dish. For example, "I'll have the grilled salmon." "I'll have the cheeseburger." You can also use slightly more polite phrases like, "Could I get the Caesar salad?" "Can I have the spaghetti carbonara?" If you are ordering more than one course, you can explain the order clearly. For example, "I'll start with the tomato soup, and for my main, I'll have the chicken parmesan." This tells the server which dish comes first and which one is your main meal. After you order, the server will often ask follow-up questions. These questions can surprise English learners, so it's good to be ready. If you order a burger or steak, the server will almost always ask, "How would you like that cooked?" This question is about doneness, which means how cooked the meat is. For steak, the common options are rare, very red inside and cool; medium rare, warm and red in the center; medium, pink in the center; medium well, slightly pink; well done, fully cooked with no pink. Many people order steak medium rare or medium. For burgers, the options are similar, but some restaurants only allow medium, medium well, or well done for safety reasons. You answer simply by saying, "Medium rare, please." "Well done, please." If your dish comes with side dishes, the server may ask, "What would you like for your sides?" "What two sides would you like?" They may list the options such as fries, mashed potatoes, rice, steamed vegetables, coleslaw, or a side salad. You can respond by saying, "I'll have the fries and the steamed vegetables. Could I get the mashed potatoes and the side salad?" If you order a salad, the server will ask, "What dressing would you like?" Dressing is the sauce that goes on the salad. Common dressings include ranch, Caesar, Italian, balsamic vinaigrette, blue cheese, honey mustard, and Thousand Island. You can answer simply, "Ranch, please." "I'll have the balsamic vinaigrette." If you are not sure, you can ask, "What dressings do you have? What do you recommend?" Sometimes the server will ask if you want the dressing on the side, meaning in a separate container. This lets you control how much you use. You might hear, "Would you like the dressing on the side?" You can say, "Yes, please." "No," you can put it on the salad. If you order eggs, especially at breakfast, the server will ask, "How would you like your eggs?" This question is about the cooking style. Common egg styles include scrambled, mixed and cooked until soft; fried, cooked in a pan; sunny side up, yolk on top, runny; over easy, flipped once, runny yolk; over medium, flipped, slightly runny; over hard, flipped, fully cooked yolk; poached, gently cooked in water; boiled, cooked in the shell. You can answer, "Scrambled, please." "Over easy, please." If you order toast or bread, they may ask, "White, wheat, or sourdough?" This is asking which type of bread you want. You just say your choice. Now let's talk about special requests and changes, which are very common in restaurants. Maybe you have allergies, dietary needs, or you simply don't like certain ingredients. Most restaurants are happy to make small changes. If you want to remove something, you can say, "Could I have that without onions?" "Can I get the salad without tomatoes?" "No onions, please." "Hold the tomatoes." The phrase "hold the" means to leave something out. If you want to add something, you can say, "Could I add avocado to my sandwich?" "Can I have extra cheese?" These polite, simple phrases will help you order exactly what you want and feel confident while doing it. You can also say things like, "Can I have extra cheese on my pizza?" This is very common. Just remember that adding extra ingredients may cost more money. If there is an extra charge, the server will usually tell you before placing the order. If you want to change one ingredient for another, you can use phrases like, "Could I substitute?" "Can I swap?" For example, "Could I substitute the fries for a salad?" "Can I swap the rice for vegetables?" Again, some substitutions may cost extra, depending on the restaurant. If you have food allergies or dietary restrictions, it is very important to explain this clearly. You can say, "I'm allergic to peanuts." "I'm allergic to shellfish." If the allergy is very serious, you can say, "I have a severe allergy to peanuts." This tells the server that they need to be very careful. The server should check with the kitchen to make sure your food is safe. If you are vegetarian, you can say, "I'm vegetarian." "Does this dish have any meat in it?" "Do you have any vegetarian options?" If you are vegan, meaning you do not eat any animal products like meat, dairy, or eggs, you can say, "I'm vegan." "Can this be made without dairy?" Which dishes are vegan? Many restaurants now clearly mark vegetarian and vegan dishes on the menu using symbols like V or VG. If you are gluten-free, you can ask, "Is this gluten-free?" "Do you have gluten-free options?" Some restaurants even have a separate gluten-free menu or can change dishes to meet your needs. Other common dietary needs include dairy-free, nut-free, and low-carb. Do not feel shy about asking questions. Good restaurants want you to feel safe and enjoy your meal. Another very helpful thing to do is ask for recommendations. If you are not sure what to order, you can ask your server, "What do you recommend? What's good here?" Servers usually know the menu very well. They can suggest popular dishes or their personal favorites. You can also ask more specific questions such as, "What's your most popular dish? What do people usually order here?" If you see a dish on the menu but don't understand it, feel free to ask, "What's in the seafood pasta? What comes with the breakfast platter?" You can also ask, "How big is the portion?" if you are worried about size. "Is this dish spicy?" if you are sensitive to heat. Asking questions helps you make better choices, and servers are used to answering them. Now let's talk about drinks during the meal. After you order your food, your server will check on your drinks. They might ask, "Would you like a refill? Can I get you another drink?" A refill means filling your glass again with the same drink. In many American restaurants, soft drinks like Coke or Pepsi come with free refills, meaning you can drink as much as you want for the price of one. This is not common in all countries, so it's good to know. If you want more water, you can say, "Could I have more water, please?" More water, please. If you want to order alcohol, you might choose beer, wine, or cocktails. When ordering wine, you can order by the glass or by the bottle. A glass is one serving. A bottle usually contains about 4 to 6 glasses. You can ask, "Do you have wine by the glass? Could we see the wine list?" The wine list is a separate menu that shows all available wines. If you don't know much about wine, you can ask, "What wine would you recommend with the salmon? What pairs well with steak?" Pairing means choosing a drink that tastes good with your food. A simple rule is that red wine often goes with red meat, and white wine often goes with fish or chicken, but personal preference is always most important. After your food arrives, your server will usually check back after a few minutes. They may ask, "How is everything? Is everything okay with your meal? How's your food?" If everything is good, you can say, "Everything's great, thank you. It's delicious. Perfect, thanks." If there is a problem, this is the right time to speak up. Maybe the food is cold, overcooked, undercooked, or not what you ordered. You can politely say, "Actually, this isn't what I ordered. I'm sorry, but this steak is more well done than I asked for. This soup is cold. Could you warm it up?" Good restaurants want to fix problems. The server will usually apologize and offer to replace or correct the dish. During the meal, you may need extra items. Here are some polite ways to ask. "Could I have some more napkins, please? May I have extra napkins?" For condiments, "Could I get some ketchup? Do you have hot sauce?" For utensils, "Could I have another fork? May I have a steak knife?" If you are sharing food, "Could we have some extra plates? Can we get some small plates for sharing?" All of these requests are normal. Just remember to be polite and use phrases like "could I," "may I," or "can I," followed by "please." Sometimes, you may want to order more food after you've started eating. You can say, "Could we order another appetizer? We'd like to add an order of fries." If you are sharing dishes, you can ask before ordering, "Is this dish good for sharing? We'd like to share this." Many restaurants can divide food for you. You can ask, "Could you split this in the kitchen? Can we have this on 2 plates?" These small phrases make your restaurant experience smoother and more comfortable, even in a second language. Sometimes, after you finish eating, you may still have food left on your plate. In American culture, this is very normal. Restaurant portions are often large, and many people take leftover food home. If you want to take your food with you, you can ask, "Could I have a box for this? Can I get a to-go container?" The server will bring you a container. In many places, you pack the food yourself at the table. Sometimes, the server may offer to take the food to the kitchen and pack it for you. You might also hear the term doggy bag. This is an older expression. It comes from the idea that the food is for your dog, but in reality, people take it home for themselves. Today, most people simply say box or to-go container. If you want to take a drink with you, you can ask, "Can I get this to go?" If it's allowed, they may put the drink in a cup with a lid. Now let's talk about dessert. After you finish your main meal, the server will usually clear your plates and ask, "Would you like to see the dessert menu? Can I interest you in dessert? Are you saving room for dessert?" If you want dessert, you can say, "Yes, please." The server will bring a dessert menu or tell you what desserts are available. If you are full, you can say, "No, thank you. We're too full, but thank you. Just the check, please." Some restaurants show desserts on a tray so you can see them. You can ask, "What desserts do you have? What do you recommend for dessert?" Common desserts include cake, pie, ice cream, cheesecake, brownies, and creme brulee. If you are celebrating something special, like a birthday, you can tell your server, "It's my friend's birthday." Many restaurants will bring a special dessert, sometimes with a candle, and may even sing happy birthday. After dessert, or after your main meal if you skip dessert, it's time to pay the bill. This is the final part of your restaurant experience. In American English, people usually say check. In British English, people say bill. Both words mean the same thing. To ask for it, you can say, "Could we have the check, please? Can I get the bill? Check, please." Your server will bring the check, usually in a small folder or tray. The check shows everything you ordered and the prices, plus tax. In the United States, tax is not included in the menu prices. This means the final amount will be higher than what you see on the menu. Tax usually ranges from about 5% to 10%, depending on the city or state. Now let's talk about tipping, which is very important in the United States. Tipping, also called gratuity, means giving extra money to your server to thank them for their service. In the US, tipping is expected, not optional. Servers are paid low wages and depend on tips for most of their income. The standard tip is 15% to 20% of the total bill before tax. If the service was great, you can tip 20% or more. If the service was not good, you might tip less, but you should still tip something unless the service was extremely bad. An easy way to calculate a tip. Take 10% of the bill by moving the decimal one place to the left. Then double it to get 20%. For example, if the bill is $50, 10% is $5. 20% would be $10. Some restaurants automatically add gratuity for large groups, usually 6 people or more. The check will say gratuity included or service charge included. If this is already added, you do not need to tip extra, but you can if you want to. There are different ways to pay the bill. If you pay with cash, you can place the money in the folder or hand it to the server. If you need change, the server will bring it back. If you do not need change, you can say, "Keep the change." This means the change is the tip. If you pay with a credit or debit card, you put your card in the folder. The server will process the payment and bring back a receipt. On the receipt, you will see a line for the tip, a line for the total. You write the tip amount, add it to the bill, write the total, sign your name, and leave the receipt on the table. Many restaurants now use electronic payment systems at the table. You can pay on a screen and choose the tip amount there. If you are eating with a group and want to split the bill, meaning each person pays separately, tell your server early. You can say, "We'd like separate checks, please. Can we split the bill?" Some restaurants can do this easily, while others may not, especially if food was shared. If splitting is not possible, you can divide the total evenly by saying, "Can we split it evenly?" You can also use apps like Venmo or Splitwise to pay each other. If one person wants to pay for everyone, they might say, "I've got this. This is on me." If you want to treat someone, you can say, "Let me get this. Dinner's on me." Before you leave the restaurant, take a moment to check your belongings. People often forget phones, wallets, jackets, or bags when leaving. Look around your table and check your pockets. If you realize later that you forgot something, you can call the restaurant and say, "I was just there for dinner and I think I left my phone. Has anyone turned it in?" Most restaurants have a lost and found where they keep items left behind. When you are getting ready to leave a restaurant, you may see your server or the host near the door. It is polite to say something kind before you go. You can simply say, "Thank you," or "Have a good evening." These small words are very important in English-speaking cultures. If you really enjoyed the food or the service, you can say something more positive, such as "Everything was delicious," or "We really enjoyed our meal." Servers appreciate hearing this because it shows respect and gratitude. Now let's talk about some common problems you might face in a restaurant and how to handle them politely. Sometimes a restaurant can be very noisy, and it becomes hard to hear the people you are eating with. If this happens, you can politely ask to move. You can say, "Excuse me, is there a quieter table available? It's quite loud here." Most restaurants will try to help if they can. If your table is uncomfortable or wobbly, you can also ask to move. You might say, "I'm sorry, but this table is a bit wobbly. Could we move to a different one?" This is a normal request, and staff are usually happy to help. What if you have been waiting a long time for your food? You should not be rude or angry. Instead, ask politely. For example, "Excuse me, we ordered about 30 minutes ago. Do you know how much longer our food will be?" This shows patience and respect. If your food is not cooked the way you asked, tell your server right away. For example, you can say, "I'm sorry, but I ordered this medium rare, and it's well done. Could I get a new one?" Restaurants expect this and usually fix the problem. If you find something wrong with your food, like a hair or something that should not be there, you should definitely say something. You can say, "Excuse me, I found a hair in my food. Could I get a new dish?" The restaurant should apologize and replace the food, and often they will not charge you for it. Always check your bill before paying. If you see something you did not order, say something politely. For example, "I think there's an error on the bill. We didn't order this item." The server will correct the mistake. If the service is very slow or your server seems to have forgotten about you, try to get their attention politely. You can make eye contact and raise your hand slightly. If that does not work, you can ask another staff member, "Excuse me, could you find our server? We've been waiting to order." If you spill a drink or drop food, don't panic. Accidents happen. Just say, "I'm sorry, I spilled my water. Could we get some napkins?" The staff will help clean it up. If you are in a hurry and need to leave quickly, let your server know. You can say, "We're in a bit of a rush. Could we get the check as soon as possible?" They will try to speed things up for you. If you are very unhappy with your meal and feel you should not pay for it, this can be a sensitive situation. If the food is truly bad or completely wrong, you can ask to speak to the manager. Say, "I'd like to speak to the manager, please. I'm not satisfied with my meal." A good manager will usually try to fix the problem by offering a discount or removing the item from your bill. Now let's talk about some cultural tips for dining in English-speaking countries. In the United States, dining is usually casual and friendly. Servers often introduce themselves by their first name and may chat with you. This is normal and does not mean they are being unprofessional. It is just part of American culture. In the UK, service is usually a bit more formal and quiet, but still polite. In Australia, service is similar to the US, friendly, relaxed, and informal. Tipping culture is very different from country to country. In the US, tipping is very important and expected. The usual tip is 15 to 20%. In the UK, tipping is less expected, but still appreciated, usually around 10%, and sometimes a service charge is already included. In Australia, tipping is not expected, but you can leave a small tip for excellent service. Another important cultural rule is how to get a server's attention. In English-speaking countries, it is okay to make eye contact or say, "Excuse me." However, snapping your fingers or calling out loudly is considered rude. Never snap your fingers at a server. Also, it is not common to call a server waiter or waitress. Instead, say, "Excuse me," or use their name if they told you their name. Timing is also different across cultures. In the US, meals move at a moderate pace. You are not rushed, but you usually don't sit for hours unless it is a special restaurant. In the UK and parts of Europe, meals are more relaxed, and people often stay and talk long after eating. That's why servers usually wait until you ask for the check. Finally, let's look at different types of restaurants. Fast food restaurants, like McDonald's or Subway, are very simple. You order at the counter, pay right away, and wait for your food. There is no table service and no tipping. Casual dining restaurants are sit-down places with table service and a relaxed feeling. This is where most of the language we talked about is used. Fine dining restaurants are more formal and expensive. The service is polite and elegant. You may hear more formal language like, "Good evening, sir," or "May I suggest?" The menus are more detailed, and there may be wine suggestions. Cafes and coffee shops are places where people usually go to relax and enjoy coffee, tea, pastries, sandwiches, or light meals. In some cafes, you order your food and drinks at the counter, just like in a fast food restaurant. In other cafes, there is table service and a server comes to take your order. It depends on the place, so it's always okay to look around or ask politely if you are not sure. Buffets are a special type of restaurant. At a buffet, you usually pay one fixed price. After that, you can choose your own food from a large selection. You serve yourself, taking as much or as little food as you want. The server usually brings drinks, refills your glass, and clears empty plates, but you get your own food. Even though the service is limited, tipping is still expected. At buffets, people usually tip around 10%, which is less than at full-service restaurants. Now let's look at some more advanced vocabulary and polite phrases that can help you sound more natural and fluent in English. Instead of saying "I want," which can sound direct, it is better to say "I'd like" or "I'll have." These phrases sound more polite and natural in restaurants. Instead of saying "give me," which can sound rude, try saying "could I have" or "may I have." These phrases show respect. When asking about food, instead of saying "what is this," you can say "could you tell me more about this dish?" or "what's in the house special?" The house special is a dish that the restaurant is known for or recommends. If you really like the food, you can show enthusiasm by saying things like, "This looks amazing." "This is absolutely delicious." "I'm really enjoying this." If you want to compliment the chef in a polite and formal way, you can say to your server, "Please give my compliments to the chef." This means the food was excellent. Here are some polite and advanced ways to make requests. Instead of saying "can you," you can say "would you mind," which sounds very polite. For example, "Would you mind bringing us some extra bread?" Instead of saying "I don't want," you can say "I'd prefer not to have," or "could I have it without?" For example, "I'd prefer not to have any cilantro. Could I have it without the sauce?" If you need to ask about ingredients, especially for health or dietary reasons, you can say, "Does this contain any dairy? Is there any gluten in this dish?" If you want a recommendation, instead of saying "what's good," you can say, "What would you recommend for someone who loves seafood?" If you had to choose one dish, what would it be? When asking about portion size, you can say, "Is this a large portion? Would this be enough for 2 people to share?" If you are worried about spice level, you can ask, "On a scale of 1 to 10, how spicy is this? Can you make it mild?" Mild means not spicy. Medium means a little spicy. Hot or spicy means very spicy. Some restaurants also offer extra hot or Thai hot for people who really love spicy food. Now let's look at some common food-related expressions and idioms. "I'm starving" means you are very hungry. "I'm full" or "I'm stuffed" means you cannot eat anymore. "This hits the spot" means the food is exactly what you wanted. "It's to die for" means the food is extremely delicious. "I could eat a horse" means you are extremely hungry. "Save room for dessert" means don't eat too much yet. "My eyes were bigger than my stomach" means you ordered too much food. "It's an acquired taste" means you might not like it at first, but you could learn to enjoy it. Comfort food is food that makes you feel relaxed and happy, like mac and cheese or chicken soup. Now let's look at a complete example conversation so you can see how everything works together. Imagine you and a friend go to a casual restaurant. When you walk in, the host says, "Hi, welcome to Olive Garden. How many are in your party?" You say, "2, please." The host asks, "Do you have a reservation?" You reply, no, we're walk-ins. The host says, no problem. It'll be about a 10-minute wait. Can I have your name? You say, sure. It's Blake. After 10 minutes, your table is ready. The host says, Blake, party of 2. Right this way. You sit down and the host says, your server will be right with you. The server arrives and says, hi, I'm Jessica. I'll be taking care of you tonight. Can I start you off with something to drink? You say, I'll have water, please. Your friend says, could I get a Coke? After ordering food and enjoying the meal, the server asks, would you like to see the dessert menu? You say, no, thank you. We're pretty full. Could we get the check, please? You pay, leave a tip, and as you walk out, you say, thank you. Everything was great. The server replies, thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. And that's it. You've now seen a complete restaurant experience from the moment you walk in until the moment you leave. To help you feel more confident, let's practice some real-life situations. These practice scenarios will help you think about what to say in common restaurant problems. Scenario 1. You are allergic to shellfish, but you want to order the seafood pasta. You are not sure if it contains shellfish or only fish. You can say, excuse me, I'm allergic to shellfish. Does the seafood pasta contain any shellfish, or is it just fish? This is clear, polite, and helps keep you safe. Scenario 2. Your steak arrives well done, but you ordered it medium rare. You can say, I'm sorry, but I ordered this medium rare, and it's well done. Could I get a new one cooked medium rare? This is polite and completely acceptable. Scenario 3. You want to share an appetizer with your friend and need extra plates. You can say, we'd like to share this appetizer. Could we get 2 small plates, please? Scenario 4. You're not sure what to order and want a recommendation. You can say, this is our first time here. What do you recommend? Or, what's your most popular dish? Scenario 5. You finished your meal, but there is food left and you want to take it home. You can say, this was delicious, but I'm too full to finish. Could I get a box for this? Scenario 6. You're ready to pay and want to split the bill with your friend. You can say, could we get separate checks, please? Or, can we split the bill? Now let's look at some common mistakes English learners make in restaurants and how to avoid them. Mistake 1. Using I want too directly. I want is grammatically correct, but it can sound rude or demanding. Instead, use I'd like or could I have, which sound much more polite. Mistake 2. Forgetting to say please and thank you. These words are very important in English-speaking cultures. Always say please when asking for something and thank you when someone helps you. Mistake 3. Not speaking up when there's a problem. If your food is wrong or something is not okay, it's fine to say something politely. Servers want to fix problems. Don't stay silent and unhappy. Mistake 4. Apologizing too much or being too indirect. You don't need a long apology for simple requests. Instead of saying, I'm so sorry to bother you, but if it's not too much trouble, could I maybe possibly have some water? Just say, could I have some water, please? Mistake 5. Not understanding tipping in the U.S. In America, tipping 15 to 20% is expected. It is not optional. Think of it as part of the total cost of eating out. Mistake 6. Calling the server by yelling, waiter, or snapping fingers. This is considered rude. Instead, make eye contact, raise your hand slightly, or say, excuse me, when the server is nearby. Mistake 7. Not asking questions about the menu. If you don't understand something, ask. It's better to ask than to order something you don't like or can't eat. Now here are some tips to build confidence when eating at restaurants. First, practice common phrases out loud before you go. Stand in front of a mirror and practice saying, I'd like the grilled salmon, please. Could I have the check, please? Practice makes speaking feel natural. Second, start with casual restaurants. These places are relaxed and friendly. Once you feel confident, you can try more formal restaurants. Third, go with a friend who speaks English well, especially at the beginning. Watch how they talk to the server and learn from them. Fourth, don't be afraid to ask the server to repeat something. You can say, "I'm sorry, could you repeat that?" Or, "Could you say that more slowly?" Fifth, remember that servers are not judging your English. They talk to many people every day, including non-native speakers. Their goal is to help you enjoy your meal. Sixth, use the menu as help. If you're not sure how to pronounce something, just point and say, "I'll have this one." Seventh, prepare ahead of time. If you're going to a steakhouse, learn steak names and cooking styles. If you're going to an Italian restaurant, learn common pasta dishes. Preparation builds confidence. Finally, let's talk about technology that can help you. Translation apps like Google Translate can help if you're really stuck, but try English first if you can. Many restaurants have online menus, so you can check them before you go and look up new words. Some restaurants let you order and pay using an app, which can reduce stress. Review sites like Yelp or TripAdvisor show photos and reviews, so you know what to expect. With practice, preparation, and confidence, ordering food in English will become easy and natural. Fifth, payment apps like Apple Pay or Google Pay can make paying faster and easier. You don't need to take out cash or a card, and the payment is done in seconds. However, I still strongly encourage you to practice speaking in English when you're at a restaurant. Talking to people is one of the best ways to improve your English, and real interaction is an important part of learning the culture, not just the language. Now, let's talk about regional differences in restaurant vocabulary in English-speaking countries. These differences are very common and can sometimes be confusing. In the United States, people usually say, "Check for the bill," "appetizer for the first course," "entree for the main dish," "to go for takeaway food," "soda" or "pop" for soft drinks. In the United Kingdom, people usually say, "Bill instead of check," "starter instead of appetizer," "main instead of entree," "takeaway instead of to go," "fizzy drink instead of soda." In Australia, the vocabulary is similar to the UK. People say bill, starter, main, and takeaway, but they often say soft drink instead of fizzy drink. Food names can also be different. For example, what Americans call fries, the British call chips. What Americans call chips, potato chips, the British call crisps. What Americans call cookies, the British call biscuits. What Americans call biscuits, a type of bread, the British don't really have, though scones are somewhat similar. These differences can seem confusing at first, but usually the context makes the meaning clear. Now let's talk about breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because each meal has its own food and customs. Breakfast is the first meal of the day, eaten in the morning. Common breakfast foods include eggs, bacon, sausage, toast, pancakes, waffles, cereal, oatmeal, yogurt, and fruit. In breakfast restaurants, you might see 2 eggs any style, which means you choose how the eggs are cooked. Hash browns, which are shredded fried potatoes. Home fries, which are cubed fried potatoes. Breakfast burrito, which is eggs and other ingredients wrapped in a tortilla. You might also see continental breakfast, which usually includes pastries, fruit, and coffee. In the UK, you might see a full English breakfast, which includes eggs, bacon, sausage, beans, tomatoes, mushrooms, and toast. Lunch is the midday meal. It is usually lighter and faster than dinner. Common lunch foods include sandwiches, salads, soups, burgers, and wraps. Dinner, also called supper in some places, is the evening meal and is usually the largest meal of the day. Dinner can be casual, like pizza or pasta, or more formal with multiple courses such as appetizers, a main dish, and dessert. Now let's talk about special occasions. If you are celebrating a birthday, anniversary, or another special event, You can tell the restaurant when you make a reservation. You can say, "We're celebrating a birthday." Many restaurants will bring a dessert with a candle or do something special. If you are on a date, you might want a quiet or romantic table, so you can request that. If you are having a business meal, it's better to be more formal and professional in your language and behavior. If you're dining with children, you can ask, "Do you have a kids menu?" Most family-friendly restaurants offer smaller portions and simple foods for children. You can also ask for a high chair or booster seat. Now let's discuss dietary trends and special diets, which are becoming more common. Many restaurants now offer options for different diets. Vegetarian means no meat, but dairy and eggs are okay. Vegan means no animal products at all, including dairy, eggs, and honey. Gluten-free means no wheat, barley, or rye. Dairy-free or lactose-free means no milk products. Keto or low-carb means avoiding bread, pasta, rice, and sugar. Paleo focuses on meat, vegetables, and fruits while avoiding grains and processed foods. Halal follows Islamic dietary laws. Kosher follows Jewish dietary laws. If you follow a special diet, don't be afraid to ask questions. You can say, "Do you have vegan options?" Or, "Can this dish be made gluten-free?" Many restaurants clearly mark these options on the menu. Now let's look at phrases for expressing opinions about food. If you like something, you can say, "This is delicious." "This is amazing." "I love this." "This is fantastic." If you really love it, you can say, "This is the best dish I've ever had." "This is incredible." If you don't like something, you can be polite and say, "This isn't really my taste. I'm not a big fan of this. It's a bit too salty, spicy, or sweet for me." If something is just okay, you can say, "It's all right." "It's decent." "It's not bad." To describe flavors, you can use words like savory, sweet, salty, sour, bitter, spicy, mild, rich, light, fresh, tangy, smoky, creamy, and crispy. Being able to describe food helps you explain what you like and make better choices. Finally, let me share some basic dining etiquette in English-speaking countries. When you sit down, place your napkin on your lap. The napkin is used to wipe your mouth and keep your clothes clean. Small actions like this show good manners and make you feel more comfortable in restaurant situations. Dining etiquette tips. Napkin on your lap. When you sit down, put your napkin on your lap. This keeps your clothes clean. Wait for everyone. Don't start eating until everyone at your table has been served, unless someone tells you to go ahead. Chew quietly. Always chew with your mouth closed and don't talk with your mouth full. Use utensils properly. American style. Hold the fork in your right hand and switch hands when cutting. European style. Keep the fork in your left hand and the knife in your right. Both are correct. Ask for items. Don't reach across the table. Say, "Could you pass the salt, please?" Leaving the table. If you need to get up, say, "Excuse me," and place your napkin on your chair. When you finish eating, put your napkin on the table. Phones. Don't use your phone at the table, especially with other people. It's considered rude. Politeness. Always say please and thank you to your server. Problems. Don't complain loudly. Handle issues quietly with the server or manager. Tipping. Tip appropriately for the country you are in, e.g., 15 to 20% in the US. Making reservations. Reservations are important at busy restaurants. You can make them by phone, online, or through apps like OpenTable. Here's an example phone conversation. Restaurant. "Thank you for calling. Restaurant name." "How can I help you?" You. "Hi, I'd like to make a reservation for dinner." Restaurant. "Certainly." "What day and time?" You. "This Saturday at 7 p.m. Restaurant. And how many people?" You. "4 people." Restaurant. "Let me check." "Yes, we have a table at 7 p.m. Can I have your name and phone number?" You. "Blake. My number is your number." Restaurant. Great, Blake. You're all set. If you need to cancel or change your reservation, call as soon as possible. You can say, "Hi, I have a reservation for day and time under my name. I need to cancel/change it to new day and time." Common types of cuisine. Knowing different cuisines helps you understand menus. Italian, pasta, pizza, risotto, tomato sauce, cheese, olive oil, e.g., spaghetti carbonara, lasagna, chicken parmesan. Mexican, tacos, burritos, enchiladas, quesadillas, often with beans, rice, cheese, salsa. Chinese, stir fries, fried rice, noodles, e.g., kung pao chicken, sweet and sour pork, dumplings. Japanese, sushi, sashimi, ramen, teriyaki. Indian, curry, naan bread, rice, e.g., chicken tikka masala, biryani. Thai, pad thai, green curry, tom yum soup, with coconut milk, lemongrass chili. French, coq au vin, beef bourguignon, croissants, rich sauces, butter. American, burgers, hot dogs, barbecue, comfort food like mac and cheese and fried chicken. Mediterranean, Greek and Middle Eastern foods like hummus, falafel, gyros, kebabs. Sharing food and dining with others. To try someone else's food, can I try a bite of that, or would you mind if I tried some? If someone wants to try your food, sure, go ahead, or, of course, help yourself. To offer your food, would you like to try some of this, or do you want to taste? For family-style meals, let's order a few things and share, or should we get this for the table? When passing food, here you go, or help yourself. Ordering wine and alcohol. Wine list. Ask, would you like to see the wine list? If you're unsure about wine, what wine would you recommend with this dish? Do you have a house wine? Standard, affordable wine. To taste before ordering, can I taste that first? They'll give a small sample. Beer. Ask, what beers do you have on tap? Fresh from a keg, or choose bottled beer. Cocktails. Classic options include margarita, mojito, martini, old-fashioned. Ordering cocktails and non-alcoholic drinks. Signature cocktail. Ask, what's your signature cocktail? To try the restaurant's special drink. Non-alcoholic options. Mocktails, cocktails without alcohol. Ask politely, I don't drink alcohol. What non-alcoholic options do you have? Ordering coffee and tea in cafes. Coffee types. Espresso, strong, concentrated coffee. Americano, espresso with hot water. Latte, espresso with steamed milk. Cappuccino, espresso with steamed milk and foam. Mocha, latte with chocolate. Macchiato, espresso with a small amount of milk. Flat white, similar to latte but less milk. Sizes, small, medium, large, or Starbucks terms, tall, grande, venti. Customizations. Extra shots of espresso. Milk alternatives, almond milk, oat milk, etc. Flavor syrups, vanilla, caramel, etc. Hot or iced. Tea types. Black tea, green tea, herbal tea, chai. You may be asked, would you like milk and sugar with that? Answer based on your preference. Complaining and giving feedback politely. Polite complaints. Start with, I'm sorry, but, or excuse me, but. Examples. I'm sorry, but this soup is cold. Excuse me, but we've been waiting for our food for over an hour. Speaking to a manager. Could I speak to the manager, please? Explain calmly. I ordered my steak medium rare, but it came out well done. I sent it back, but the replacement is also overcooked. I'm not happy with the service tonight. A good manager may offer a discount, free dessert, or not charge for the problematic dish. Giving positive feedback. Everything was wonderful. Please tell the chef. Or leave a positive online review after your meal. Restaurant staff and roles. Host/hostess. Greets guests, manages seating. Server slash waiter slash waitress. Takes orders, brings food. Busser. Clears plates, refills water. Bartender. Makes drinks at the bar. Chef slash cook. Prepares food in the kitchen. Manager. Oversees restaurant, handles problems. Sommelier. Wine expert in fancy restaurants. Who to ask. Drinks server or bartender. Complaints manager. Wine advice sommelier. Phrases for when you're in a hurry. Ordering quickly. We're in a bit of a rush. What can you bring out quickly? What's your fastest dish? Getting the check quickly. We're in a hurry. Could we get the check as soon as possible? Taking food to go. Actually, could we get this to go instead? Restaurants usually can accommodate these requests, especially if you tell them up front.